some of us have a little bit more information about RA, and the idea is that this is a threat which has been building up over the past 5 to 10 years. Now, we don't want to get into the background why we didn't do this kind of a meeting 5 to 10 years back. But now the threat is so imminent that if we don't get our acts together by the end of this year also, we don't even have 6 months or 1 year. We have almost as little as 1 or 2 months or 3 months to play around with to be able to save RA. And the idea is that by the end of this session, hopefully, we have enough active volunteers who are empowered with as much information to be able to do what it takes to be able to save RA. Now, just to quickly get to a bit of a background about RA, it is roughly 3,000 to 4,000 acres. Where we are sitting is actually, in a sense, artificial RA. This is a cultivated garden. Next time we should possibly do a workshop right in the middle, somewhere New Zealand hostel or that side. And I'm sure all of you have seen RA. Extremely beautiful. And in a letter which we've recently drafted to the Chief Minister, what we are saying is that in the past 15 years, say after 2000, the whole belt between Bandra and Mysore has seen huge amount of development. There was no JVLR till 10 years, 12 years back. There was none of these connecting roads were there. Almost maybe 5 to 10,000 new buildings must have come up. The vehicular traffic has gone up enormously. JVLR is used heavily by vehicles, Western Express Highway, General A.K. Vaidya Marg, Film City Road, the RA Road itself. And we can imagine that today the biggest pollution in Mumbai is not from industries. There are no industries left. Everything has gone to Gujarat. The biggest problem is from vehicular exhaust. We have almost 2 to 3 million vehicles running on the roads of Mumbai, continuously giving out carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, sulfur, SOx, and RA. And that's why I'm carrying some of the maps. But we'll keep clear. I think we'll have to develop all of these kind of big maps. If you look at the map, the whole of Mumbai comes out as completely grey, which means urbanized. Roads, buildings, Sanjay Gandhi National Park is the big chunk which is protected as a national park. And then we have RA Milk Colony, which is adjacent to the Sanjay Gandhi National Park. But the beauty of RA Milk Colony is that we can use it. Sanjay Gandhi National Park, we cannot use it. And all the pollution that we are seeing generated in the local area is continuously being absorbed by all of these trees. These trees are still not representative of RA, the real forest is inside. Every moment it is continuously absorbing all of that carbon dioxide, dust, everything, and giving us fresh air. And not just that, it is also acting as a, like I keep saying, forests are the best air conditioners that we have around. They don't run, they don't need any electricity, you don't need to be worried about the bill you will get at the end of the day. There is no maintenance required, free of cost, the maintenance is happening. And we are continuously seeing them functioning. They repair themselves on their own. So the ecological services that are being provided by RA, which will add to entertainment, economy, whatever, or whether it is widening the road. This exact road which we are seeing over here, going up till Powai Naka, 5 kilometers, they're planning to expand from 30, 40 feet to 90 feet. So the moment they do that, all the trees that you're seeing over here, all the trees will be cut. So that is one big threat. The second threat, as we know, is the Baikala Zoo, it is quite small. And through a play of words and playing around with the law, they are now saying we are calling this as an extension of the Baikala Zoo. And they're planning to get 200 acres of forest. And a lot of us within the environment and nature field are saying that, oh, but zoo is perfectly okay, why are you complaining against the zoo? But there is a big problem with the zoo. The zoo is not representative of the forest. You'll have to clear out the forest, make these kind of enclosures where there will be a hippopotamus, elephant, giraffe, etc. Which means the forest will be gone. Because either you can have the forest or place for animals to move around. And 200 acres of forest will be destroyed. You will continuously see visitors coming in. 5,000 visitors a day, on the weekend it will become 50,000 visitors, etc. You'll see more cars coming, parking, etc. So these are all pretext for development to move it. Now in 1950 when RA was set up, it was decided as a dairy development, the whole milk. So that time RA was at the edge of the city, and whatever kabilas were there in the city, they said that you need to shift out because it's an environmental problem, all the cow dung, everything. And so this was considered for shifting, and these were established. But over a period of past 10 years, systematically the dairy minister, the minister under whom dairy was there, and also housing was there, has systematically destroyed the dairy development industry over here. Because 1950s per square feet was maybe 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees, I don't know what. Even after 20 years, the land value in this area was not that much. But now with every square feet yielding you 20,000, 30,000 rupees a square foot, you can imagine if you can even extract 100, 200, 300 acres. So the money game is really big over here. And unless there is strong resistance to it, we can be rest assured that slowly under the pretext of zoo, this, that, everything, the whole of RA will start being destroyed. But the key problem is that you burn out completely. I mean, like I keep saying, the law of inverse proportionality. If there are 1 people or 5 people working on an issue, then they will necessarily have to spend 100 hours, 10 hours, 50 hours a week in being able to do justice to that issue. But if the same thing, if 50 people or 100 people are involved, then everybody will spend comparatively little period of time, and we will be able to still do 100% of the task at maybe 25% of the burn rate. But when few activists are involved, typically by the end of the campaign, either you've managed to save 100% or lose some, but some of us are totally burnt out. Right now, few of us who are involved with RA, I don't think have enough bandwidth. We also have our jobs. I'm also involved with other campaigns where I have to be equally present. So that is the request that everybody please join in. And I actually will like to refer to my laptop now because I was preparing a complete
So
plan.
while you set that up,
Yeah.
just to add to what Rishi said, I just share the data. So 3,262, as per a report, 3,262 acres was the original land of RA. Okay, that is 5 times bigger than London's Hyde Park. Today it is 2,087 acres. Maximum takeover of the colony has taken place in last 4 years. That is between 2009 to 2013. More than 600 acres have been allotted for various projects. So there is an acceleration going on, is what is evident from this data. And the new 3 projects, totally combined, propose to, again take off another 400 to 500 acres. That includes the zoo, the metro yard, the SRA rehabilitation, and the road widening. So these 4 projects.
So even the tribals who have been staying here for long are opposing that, and in a sense we will now have to join forces with the tribals who've been here staying here for a very long time. Also the tabela owners, we have one of them over here today, but even the tabela owners we need to join forces with in a sense and ensure, because let's accept it, the tabelas are not as bad or as intrusive use as a housing colony or a slum colony or a zoo, etc. So that is the kind of a thing. Does anybody have any questions at this stage before? Yeah. One second. Yeah. I'll just answer a question. So the SRA they are proposing, what is being told to us, what is Ravindra Vaikar, the MLA over here, and also one of the commissioners in MCGM, they said that over a period of years, and this is a very interesting discussion which we had in the BMC, that over a period of years, a lot of encroachments are taking place. Now we need to first validate whether the encroachments are as serious as they are being made out to be. Because like we've typically seen that slums is a gold mine for politicians and builders. And so everybody loves to inflate the numbers. Because as many units you can get, that much more FSI you can get. And we know with every per square feet 30,000, the game is there. So that is where we will also need volunteers. So what they're saying is that there are almost 1 lakh people staying as encroachments within RA, and we want to free up that land and we will rehabilitate them on 186 acres. So that is the Mahananda Dairy along the highway. That Mahananda Dairy is supposed to be closed down, and that will become, I think, SRA. So, and I have to continuously keep using the word I think, because that's the problem. Information and detailed information is a big gap over here, and some of us over here can possibly make a core team which will only be looking into information, maps and exact boundaries, so that we are dealing with precise info. So Naseem is over here. They are owners of one of the tabelas which is going to get most badly affected by the metro yard, and uncle is also there. So the information which he shared with me is that the metro is coming underground till Seeps. Then it is going under JBLR also underground, but immediately after that it is coming up. Correct me if I'm wrong. Huh? Immediately after that it is coming up, and then on a ramp it is going till this plot where the metro yard is going to be there. Now bulk of the trees which are getting affected is at the place where this ramp is coming out. It is also where their property is getting affected. Now what they are saying is that over a period of time, past 5 years, 3 years, the alignment has actually been changed so that they do not hurt a slum colony over there which has got political patronage. So to avoid that slum colony, they have diverted the route, in which case almost 2000 trees are getting hurt. Now because we have not been standing up for the trees all these 3 years, it's been perfectly okay to override them. What here they're suggesting, and quite correctly so, that if for 23 kilometers the metro is going underground, 33, I think it's 23. 32 kilometers. Okay, whatever, 30 kilometers, 20 kilometers, it is underground. It can easily go underground for half a kilometer more and actually emerge in a place where there are no trees, and come out of that place and go to the metro yard. So which is, I think, absolutely feasible. My objection still is that even the grasslands have a lot of ecological value. Unfortunately, we will be destroying the landscape, but actually I had a bit of this thing with our team members only. I got a bit angry because, like I said, that we almost end up waking up at the very last minute. I have been part of the public hearings 2 years, 3 years back with MMRDA. In papers, my quotes against the yard, against a lot of things have been coming up, but we unfortunately didn't build up like this. So even filing a public interest litigation at this stage becomes very difficult, because the court says that the metro is also in public interest. Now if you're going to be filing a public interest litigation and they've already attained financial closure at 25,000 crores, if you delay the project by 2 more years, the cost goes up to 28,000 crores, which is the public which will suffer the 2,000, 3,000 crores. So it is a very tricky situation we are in. But now, empowered with this new information, possibly we can challenge them. The points, I just want to quickly answer some points. One is, he said that the trees can be cut, but then we should plant double the amount of trees. I have answered that point. It is not possible, sir, because anyway there is no land in RA, and there is no land in the city, so you cannot plant the trees anywhere else. And one of the most important things which I shared with the VBI meeting was that in 2005 I had an experience with saving 300 trees between Sion and Mulund on LBS road. So what happened was that on one fine day, October 15th, somebody called me that all the trees have notices and they are going to cut beautiful 300 trees between Sion and Mulund. Immediately I moved in, and we were able to file a quick petition in the court for a temporary stay order while we are getting more information. So when we started getting more information, this was again being done by MMRDA. When we started getting more information, I had meetings with the consultant. They said we are trying to, with the MMRDA, they said we want to lay sewage lines all along the LBS road, and this is in public interest, and we will plant trees somewhere else. Then I said, fine, got it. Then I had a meeting with their consultants. The consultant, one of the persons, was very sympathetic towards the tree. He said it is good you put the PIL, and we will actually are now forced to apply our mind. And what happened was they actually found a solution where they didn't have to cut the trees, and they went deeper and were able to still put the sewage line and keep the trees safe. So the point I'm trying to make is that if we exert pressure, then the same authorities which are behaving in a very lazy manner and taking the easy route out are forced to apply their minds. Now we have two new pieces of information today in the last half an hour. One is he shared about the alignment, about how it is possible to change the alignment, and the second he is saying is that the Chief Justice is sympathetic towards the trees, which is not we knew till yesterday also.
We didn't know. Can you throw more light on that?
So this is so this is a perfect opportunity for us. So I'm quite sure we'll be able to save those 2,300 trees, and also be having the metro.
That's
so
we have a win-win solution. We want a win-win solution.
So transplanting, past 10 years, 15 years we've been saying. I wrote an email which I'm most happy to share with all of you. I'll make it a FAQ on the blog. Transplanting does not work. Period. Transplanting does not work. Imagine, say, this kind of a tree. You know how they do the transplanting? They will chop off all the branches. All the branches. They will only leave the trunk. Then they will try to chop off as much of the trunk also. Then there will be labor and earth movers, JCB, which will scoop all the mud around it up till 5-7 feet. Labor will do the finer job. Then they will get a crane. They will tie the tree with a rope. They will pull it out. Then they will put it into a truck. They will wrap the roots into mud and a bag kind of a thing. Then they will transplant it to a place where they have to plant. There again there will be an earth mover which will scoop. then it will put. And like I was telling on my email, all of this work is not done by some tree lovers. This is done by contractors. And for each tree, they are billing at least 10,000 rupees, and I'm quite sure up to 25,000 rupees. And you can imagine the kind of trauma that the tree goes through. And they don't survive. And they don't survive. As a tree lover, I've been telling BMC, MMRDA, if genuinely a tree needs to go, just cut it. I will come as a tree lover, use the axe, cut it for you. But don't waste public money, 25,000 rupees. In 25,000 rupees, you can actually plant 25 more trees. And those trees will be from saplings which will actually take root and grow properly. This is a completely traumatic way to treat trees. It's a very disrespectful way of treating trees. You're better off killing them by cutting them rather than making them go through so much of trauma. So I'm absolutely against transplanting. Just imagine 2,000 trees and 25,000 rupees. Somebody is very happy to make the money. They're like, oh great, let's do transplanting. I think, and we've already seen our tree cover being decimated over the past 10-15 years. We have to do what it takes to save the existing trees where they are. No, and like the new data has come in, and exactly the same kind of a situation in 2005. When you put the pressure, they were able to still lay the sewage lines and save the trees. Now if you put the pressure, they will just go a little bit more underground, come out of the ramp, and all the 2,000 trees can be saved.
So
that course of action is very clear, I think.
We are all in the agreement to wanting to save these trees now. I think if we know the next steps, what we have to do will be nice.
Keep saying that as public, unfortunately, we don't read the newspapers properly. We don't react in time. Line 1 metro between Andheri, between Versova and Ghatkopar, the metro yard is situated in 4 bungalows. I have the figures, unfortunately, the exact yard area, I calculated it. But that is a big plot of land where the metro yard is situated on 2/3 of the land along with the ramp. And almost 30 to 40% of the land has been given away to first HDIL and now Adani, and they've constructed tall skyscrapers. Andheri West, as we already know, because of Lokhandwala complex, this, that, etc. is heavily congested. You don't need more buildings coming up. But in a swap deal, MMRDA and in collusion with the builders allowed those buildings to come up. Now the point I raised with Mr. Srinivas was that your line 3 metro and line 1 metro are actually intersecting at one point near the airport. Line 3 metro could have come out near the airport, ramps can come up. During the night time, all the line 3 metro coaches can actually come onto line 1 metro, and line 1 metro they can go and come down at the same depot if you made a place and use that same depot. And there is economy of scale. You don't have to repeat a lot of infrastructure at different places. So what he told me was that, boss, actually we are in the World Guinness Book Records for already having attempted making a metro yard in the smallest, thinnest area available, and actually you need far more land, and that's why that is not a feasible option. Now it is his word against my word. No, we need to do more research, but I am telling that because we are not cautious as citizens, we allow these kind of things to happen. Most probably this metro yard could have been sufficient for servicing line 1 and line 3 metro, but now impossible to do that. So that is your answering your question. We need to be more data rich and aware. If we were able to do that Guinness Book of Record, then possibly we could have beaten that record also, and in that same plot of land have line 3 also. If you're so proud that line 1, oh, we've been able to do such a great job, nowhere in the world in metro yard is situated in such a land, so we could have beaten our own record. If we can go to Mars in 470 crores, then possibly we can do further innovation and have one metro yard on top of another metro yard. Just as you use FSI and pile up our buildings on top, you could have gone 3 layers of a metro yard and possibly done it in the same plot. So yeah, that is the.
What is the alternate solution?
There is no alternate solution, because like Srinivas correctly said that, and that is why I'm also into public transport, and I am absolutely a lover of buses, and why buses are a far better medium of public transport than metro, etc. Now he said in a bus, even if a bus terminates at a particular point, it can still use the road and go 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers to a depot. But in the case of a metro, it is so costly, 300 crores per kilometer, that I cannot construct kind of a corridor where it will go to some other depot. So there is unfortunately no option. There is no land at Kolaba, and the only land is on the Seeps end. I could have suggested land near the airport, which is Marol, Chimatpada and all of that, but highly contentious issue. It is all already covered by slum, and the per square feet over there is 50,000 rupees. So nobody is going to give 50,000. So RA land is cheap right now. RA land is zero value. Nature is paying. It is freely available. Nature is paying, and that is where the ecological cost is never factored in. We are not going to factor that those grasslands which will go are also absorbing. They are also acting as a flood barrier. When you make 30 acres or 30 hectares of metro yard, you will actually go 30 feet underground, make everything concrete, which means this area will not be able to absorb water.
Even more than that.
Even more than that. So it will become completely impervious. So what will happen is that 30 acres into 30 feet or whatever, when it rains very heavily, that much area will actually flow into the Meethi Moor or into the surrounding areas. It might have a flood impact in terms of Marol, etc. getting flooded. But we are not as wise and as far-looking a species as we like to call ourselves. Metro. Metro is not the only threat. In fact, metro is the smallest of threat today. The other projects are actually going to destroy far bigger trees. So the plan which I shared at BBI meeting on a week or 10 days back was that these kind of battles, even if we have to file a public interest litigation, and that's where I was getting a bit sarcastic, 5 people or 10 people cannot constitute public at all. I have good success with saving mangroves in the past, where even without doing PILs we were able to save some pockets because we had heavy resistance from people. And now is the time for people to exert ourselves. So what I'm sharing with VBI and where we want everybody's help is at least 1,000 buildings in this vicinity need to be writing a letter to the Chief Minister, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, not just about the metro, saying that this 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 acres of RA for so and so reasons are very important for the city. City is not just about jobs and contribution to the GDP, employment and housing and all of that. It is also about quality of life. So it is about the quality of air we are breathing, and this we have to communicate to the Chief Minister and ask him. There has to be a complete stay on all developmental decisions. So the letter, and also I'm giving the background of the letter. Now what happens is this 4,000 acres is property of government of Maharashtra. This is not property of private land. This does not belong to XYZ builder. So nobody can say, oh, you're talking about my property. This is public property. Government of Maharashtra, there is a public trust doctrine. They're not the owners of the land, they are trustees of the land. They have to use the land in the best interest of the citizens. Now in the best interest of citizens, 50 years back, they decided that Tabela should be shifted and brought over here. Now in the context of 2014, the best interest of citizens, and which is almost 1 million, 2 million citizens in the immediate vicinity, and not just this, but the whole city. In the interest of the citizens, the forests have to be saved, and that is what we have written in the letter to the Chief Minister. That letter needs to not go only from 5, 10, 20 people of us. It needs to go from 1,000 buildings on their letterheads. Now, I was just explaining the psychology to Manish and everybody. If the Chief Minister's office receives 5 letters, 10 letters, 50 letters, it is very easy for his staff to put it into a box file, keep it away, no action. They will not even give you a token reply back that, oh, we have received error, because they are like, chalo, theek hai. See, this is a game of tiring each other out. Over a period of time, we've learnt with the builders and the government that if there are only 5 activists, they know ki boss, the government officials are getting paid salary to do their work. People like us are not getting paid salary. We have to remove time from our work, etc. बोलते हैं कितना टाइम निकालेंगे? हफ्ते में 5 घंटा निकालेंगे, 10 घंटा निकालेंगे, कब तक निकालेंगे? 1 week, 5 weeks, 10 weeks, 30 weeks. They are in a permanent job. They are going to get a pension. We are not in a permanent job. So the idea is to use the power of the masses and flood his table with 1,000 letters at least coming in, where he goes mad and he says, goes to the Chief Minister and says, ki boss, something big is coming up. Not just the Chief Minister, we have to mark it to the Chief Justice, we have to mark it to the Dairy Development Minister, to the Municipal Commissioner, to MMRDA. When all of these people receive so many letters, that is when it will become a public agitation. And now for whatever reasons, fax works beautifully in the government offices. They're still in the big age of fax. So if any document comes through a fax, it is immediately brought to the notice of the, so all of you who might have still have a fax machine or who don't have and can go from somewhere else, you need to send a fax to, one is the MMRDA Commissioner's fax number and one is the Jijamata Udayan fax number. You have to just say that we are extremely concerned about this matter. We have been told that a change of alignment is possible and 2,000 trees can be saved, and we urgently request you to consider this option and stay any permission which has been given for cutting of the trees. Just this much you have to write. You have to either put it on your letterhead or this thing. And MMRDA Commissioner fax number I have, the Jijamata Udayan we can get. If 20-30 faxes can go tomorrow, beautiful. It can work wonder. But primarily we need to divide ourselves into different groups. Because if everybody tries to do everything, like he said, we will all flitter away in different platforms. So what I've identified over here is there needs to be a communications group. Okay, and this might not be in order of priority right now, but I'll just go through the whole thing. Yeah. So what I'm saying is we need a film, we need A3 size posters which can be put up in various buildings. We need a pamphlet, we need a photo exhibition ready. We should be able to show the best beauty of RA at a Goregaon railway station to the average people and try to get sympathy and sentiment.
Why only Goregaon station? We can.
So that is what I'm saying. We need to, as per our interest, divide ourselves into teams. So whoever is interested in the communication. No. It's a mobile exhibition. So you have 10 posters or 20 posters in 8 by 10 with a backdrop. You immediately pack up, move it, another location, another location, another location. That's why we need volunteers, people who will take it. So there'll be a communication team which will design it, and there might be another team which is good at outreach. So the outreach team will actually go to 10 places. So we need a communication team, we need a team for engagement with authorities. Now which authorities? We need CM office, Dairy, Central Zoo and the Sanjay Gandhi National Park Director. These are the 4 primary authorities, at least 2 people in each team who will continuously go and meet them and apprise them of whatever we are discussing. Because the human touch is extremely important. That is when they know that there is pressure, and we need to continuously tell them that there are 1,000, 10,000 people along with us. It might only be 10 people behind us, but we need to scare them and tell them that there are far more people. Then we need to engage with the local MLAs. I'm told that Vidya Thakur, and that group is not here, I think, Goregaon Vikas Manch. They played a key role in Vidya Thakur winning the election from here over Subhash Desai. And she is absolutely happy to help in whichever way she can help that same group. And that same group is very concerned about saving RA. So we need to work hard, but we need to also work smart. We need to work smart where we can use certain politicians against their own fraternity. So while certain politicians are working for the developers, we need to use this kind of we need to engage with Vidya Thakur, Sunil Prabhu, Ravindra Vaikar, Atul Bhatkalkar, besides almost every MLA of Mumbai, because they are all into it together. Then we need one group which will engage with other NGOs. There is City Space, Green Line, BNHS, No. I've got last 2 points over here, which I'm saying engage with at least 1,000 buildings. That is a key requirement right now. The draft of the letter is ready, but everybody has to do hand holding. Just on goodwill, nothing happens. So you have to divide yourselves into 1 or 2 and take a commitment that you will reach out to at least 5 buildings. Make this same kind of a presentation in that building. Speak to the residents. Don't just speak to the committee members, because till then nothing will work. Hold this kind of a small meeting, spend 1 hour with them. At the end of it, on their letterhead, take this letter. If somebody from there, and also a big task for us will be to create 5 more volunteers. Don't do everything yourself, because otherwise then you will burn out. So try to create volunteers in each building. Give them the same information that you have, which you got from here. Guide them to where the Chief Minister's office is. Make them go there, take the thappa, give it to 10 other people. So we will make that drill. I don't want to get into the details over here. And the last and most important thing is events. We need to have events. One event could be tree hugging. We need to have a big chipko kind of a thing, tree hugging. We need to be standing with banners at different locations.
Media.
We need to be engaging with the media. We need to engage with the public. We need to have a big campaign on the lines of what different countries have. Visit Bangkok, visit Kerala, visit RA.
Yeah.
We need to make it a cool place to come. So moment we have a lot of visitors experiencing the forest and the beauty of it, we will have that many more people signing the letters to the Chief Minister, etc. So we need to have t-shirts, just like Volunteer for Better India t-shirts are there. Visit RA with a beautiful photo of it. So that kind of a thing. And
just adding to what Rishi just said, they have something in Bandra and Santa Cruz. The citizens have together opened the roads. So one of the things that we could do in RA is on Sundays we can involve a lot of people, have drawing competitions, have meditation, have yoga, we can also all these kind of things inside, so that more people come in. When more people come in, they'll feel that sense of belongingness, and from there then they will support the cause. So one of the things
again, yeah, absolutely. So the other 2 points are research, because again information needs to be collated accurately and put into one place. Right now we are having a confusion where the metro will come from, 2,000 trees, slum, this, that. There needs to be one group which is continuously getting accurate information, sharing it with everybody, so that everybody has the same information. Between us, we shouldn't be speaking different things. And the last point is fundraising. So there will have to be a group which we will definitely, in spite of volunteering, need at least 5 to 10 lakh rupees. Film, poster, this, that, other things, Chota events. So 10 lakhs, I think, is something which we will have to raise immediately.
Okay,
That's it. I'm done.
Sure.